Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's Angela with To Restore You. And today I thought we would have a little fun with some book pages. I'm getting ready for a couple big projects and I needed a few pieces of ephemera and envelopes and just a little something to make it fun. And in full disclosure, I have to tell you, it is a Thursday, and Thursday is usually my day that I clean and do all the fun stuff around the house. And I don't know, I'm curious, like, what is the one chore that you avoid? Because mine is absolutely laundry. So I don't mind washing it. I don't mind drying it. It's the folding and putting away that kills me. So I just decided to do this instead while take a little break from my cleaning and have a little fun, and maybe that will make it a little bit easier. A friend of mine told me that one of the best things that she learned in getting through doing laundry, because she too hates it, is she would meditate through it, and someone gave her that advice, and so I do that often, actually. But I may just put on some no-brainer TV and watch that while I'm folding socks and putting clothes away. So, but anyway, back to all the fun. So today we're going to work with two primary things. We're going to work with blank book pages, so just anything that you might have around the house, and envelopes. And so these could be envelopes that you have in junk mail. It could be, envelopes that you have. For some reason, I have envelopes everywhere, and I don't necessarily know what they all go to, so I just end up using them, and I have some that have some printing on them that are not applicable anymore. So I thought we would start with that. So the first thing that you are going to need, obviously, is a book. Now this one is so big it doesn't even fit on the screen, but this is it's basically 8.5 by 11 pages, and I don't even know, there's thousands of pages. So I like these because I can use these not only for larger projects, for larger envelopes and things, but I can also use them in my printer and on my Cricut, which I'll talk to you a little bit about. This is a little smaller book. Both are already kind of distressed. So in this project, I didn't do any distressing of the pages, but I will show you how to do that. But the first thing that I'm going to talk about is simply using your pages to print on them. So I really like, botanical florals. So I just found some free photos, and these are both from Pixabay. And I put them actually in Canva, which I probably should do one of these days, show you guys how to create layouts that you can print onto pages in a program called, or a app called Canva, Canva.com. But I chose these. I did these in a translucent background, so you don't see anything behind it, and printed those simply on the page. So, and this paper worked perfectly in my printer, so I didn't need to, have a second piece of paper adhered to it, so that worked really well. One of the other ones that I just tried out, I probably would do this a little bit differently next time, but you can also print quotes and words on that, so I just did one of my favorites. I think it's funny because I don't necessarily look at what the pages say before I print them, so some of them are pretty comical. But here's one that I printed, and then I will simply fold that in half and then put it into a journal this size. So pretty cool, and so easy. The only thing it costs really is your book from your house or the thrift shop, if you've got one, and then ink. So there you have it. One of the other things that I love to do are these adorable little, I call them tucks. Sorry, that is my niece's cat. He's a Maine Coon, and apparently he feels like he needs some attention right now. Let's see if I have something I can tuck in here. Of course, I have these all organized to do this project, and now I can't get my hands on anything. But essentially all they are is little tucks that you can put different things in. Pieces of ephemera. You can put little notes in there, but you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you're adhering this to, let's just say, another page, you've got a whole bunch of little pockets that you can use. And I'm going to show you guys how to make those. These I used with some stamps. So if you have stamps, you can use those. Those are another supply you'll want to have. Also, you need to have a pair of scissors, obviously. I use my Fiskars paper trimmer a lot. So if you have one of those, it makes life much easier. If you are a stamper, you can certainly use stamps. If you don't, we're going to talk about a few other things that you can do to get around that. I also have a glue pen, some liquid glass, all adhesive. So, and then one thing that we'll use a little bit later is just some Scotch packing tape. So besides that, possibly a paper punch, or in this case, I'm going to show you guys how to use my crocodile, so you'll get to learn that. All of the other things are just extras. You don't have to have them. So simply, to make this little cutie patootie, you're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it about like that. No rules. So now, do that one more time. Then you're going to take this end, bring it over here, and here's how I like to do it. I do fold my left end in first, but then I pull it back up and make sure that this one is even at the bottom, and then tuck that into it. And then, and you guys, a lot of people use bone folders, which is, you know, just a hard end to like get the nice creases. I don't even bother. Sometimes I use my scissors at just whatever trips your trigger. And so then you're just going to add a bead of glue at the bottom. And I didn't test this before. Oh, yep, it's good. Sometimes this little guy gets stuck. And now you have your pocket. And then whatever embellishments you want to do, you can. I actually pulled a couple things out that I thought were kind of cute. So we'll just try this. This is a stamp from Close to My Heart. It's a little ball jar, so why not try it? I've said this before. I am not the greatest at stamping. Like, I have lots of errors, but I'll usually what happens is I'll test it and it will be fantabulous. And then when I actually go to do it on the piece of paper or the journal that I want, it never turns out. But we're just going to try this. I thought this was a fun one. So we'll put that right here. Not too shabby. I didn't ruin it totally. Let's see, there's a cute little heart. Let's see, we'll just do that in the turquoise as well, because that's kind of fun color. Give it a little oomph. And there you have it. Now, the one thing I will share with you is that to get these edges, this particular one I did with watercolors. I also used watercolors in order to paint, you know, color in the flower. But if you would rather use something different, these are watercolor pencils. And if you are familiar with the old-fashioned ball jars, you probably know that the ones that are the turquoisey colors, I don't know what they're called, but they probably have a special name. They are actually worth quite a bit of money. So if you have some of those on hand, don't throw them away. Use them. Now you can do just what I'm doing right here. This is a watercolor pencil, not a marker. You could use, you know, if your kids have watercolors just lying around, use them up. They'll work just as well. Just keep in mind you might want to wait till it dries a little bit, but I'll show you what happens. I wasn't really prepared to do any watercoloring today, so hopefully this works. But if you just use that, you can kind of blend it. This I thought was kind of pretty, but just how it was. But if you see, it's kind of hard to see probably. That just kind of gets rid of those lines. And oops, and the cool part is, so this you can barely tell if there's any on there. So if I wanted, I could take it, do the wet on wet process, which we'll be doing some watercolor techniques in one of our workshops on our website, To Restore You, or my Kajabi, To Restore You, soon. I apparently can't talk and tell you all of this good stuff at the same time. But there you have it. Now you've got 2 adorable little pockets that you can use in 100 different ways. These are great in little tiny journals. But number 2 way that you can use up your paper. Here's another one. This, I just, I really like this paper. It's from an old cookbook. Like, I think it's a 4-H cookbook. One thing, if you wanted to make this look a little bit older, just get a really strong cup of coffee. You can use one that you didn't finish for the day, because if you're like me, I usually warm up my coffee, my 1 cup of coffee, about 4 or 5 times a day. And then I still don't drink it all. Did I just do that wrong? No. So I usually have one sitting at my desk that I'm like, well, not going to drink that. I may as well use it to tea stain it. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to get a paper towel so I'll just show you real quick what I'm talking about. I have not glued this one yet, but I really literally have my cup of coffee from this morning. And I kind of like, I kind of like the drippy looks. We'll see. I'll put that aside and see how it dries, if it dries by the time that we're done. And then I'll glue it all together. So I'm getting it on my paper. There we go. All right. We'll see what that looks like when we're all finished. So now you have some printed papers, you have some little tucks and fun stuff like this. I will show you one other thing I love to do with stamps, and this is all watercolored. So I did use my very inexpensive watercolor set. I used a stamp and simply stamped on it and then colored it in. For this one, I think what I'm going to do, I have a stamp that I already put together. I think this is a zinnia, one of my favorites. But I think what I will do is just try this and see, just for the fun of it. I believe, if I remember correctly, there isn't much to paint on this, because I think it's all just pretty much one color. And let's see, I'm going to, just for a little fun to see what happens, I'm going to mix this in, because if you guys are familiar with zinnias, you probably know that there's a lot of them that come in an assorted array of colors. I love the ones that are pinks and oranges all together. I just think they're super cute. So we're just going to try this. Like I said, I am not the best at stamping. It's all right. It'll be fine. If I wanted, I could go back and, go back and make it prettier using some, we're going to do this. And we'll just make a little leaf on there. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. I'm gonna go with this kind of going out on a limb or a stem. This is a little brighter green, but we'll see what it looks like. And normally what you're supposed to do is bring your stamp to your ink pad, but these are those mini stamps that I was telling you about. And so it's a little bit harder to do. Okay, people. Not too bad. But there you have it. You can stamp on that. You can add your own little fun to it if you wanted. And like I said, I kind of like the ones that have some orange and other colors in it. So I could just add a little bit of that. And this ink should not bleed. So in that case, you can go ahead and just keep adding all kinds of fun to it and use your water just to blend it in. And I'll show you. Oh, that might not be wet. Pretty, pretty. So there you go. Third way to use your book pages. And then these are great. You can cut them out. You can use them just how they are. It's totes up to you. All right, so here is one of the projects that I will show you. For this, I used my Cricut, and I have two Cricuts. I have one that is the older version where it used the cartridges, and so I tend to do tons and tons of tags, just like all of these. So I just leave, it's Georgian Basic Shapes, I think. I just leave that one in there all the time. And then, you know, that way I can quickly cut out my tags. But these are just a couple that I did. I used a couple stamps. This was just a star and a heart, and I put a grommet in these two, which I'll show you guys how to do that too, really quick, because it shouldn't be overwhelming at all. And quite honestly, if you don't have a crocodile, I think these are on our Amazon store. It's for you to reference if you want, but and I'll put the link in the description below. But you can use one of these to do almost anything. And the cool part about it is it's got, I don't know if you can see it. Let me stand up. It's got two different size holes, which one is, I think, an 1/8 and one is 3/16. And that's usually the size of your grommets. That's a larger one. And then here's the itty bitty baby one. Gosh, my hands. Sorry, guys. My nails and my fingers are stained and glued. I've been doing all kinds of videos this week. So that's what you can use to punch holes in. So it's, you know, obviously your hole punch. But the other cool thing is that right here you can set your eyelets. And so I will just show you how to do that. We'll just do that on, we'll use this big one. So simply all you do, let's see if I can do this with, apparently not. Okay, so you have to change it to the bigger side. There we go. And then all you do is, oh shoot. There we go. Set that inside there. Let's see if I can, I'm gonna try to, so you just set it inside there, push down on it. That might not have turned out because yep, and there you go. There you have it. The other cool thing that you can do with these is, well, you know what? You can also, instead of using this punch, you could let's just grab a piece of ribbon. And the one thing that you can do that's also pretty cool is you can use a brad. And brads look like, I don't have one that really matches very well, but we're just going to go with this one. So this is a brad. It's going to end on it. If you need to, you can poke a hole through there so that the brad goes through easier. You do not have to. And then that really sets your ribbon as well. Ta-da! Ta-did. You can also, like I did on this one, you can put your ribbon through the hole, then put your eyelet in and set it, and it will keep it in there nice and safe. Or if you want to just go real simple, you can just staple it. But these make great gift tags. They're fantastic to use inside of those little pockets, and that's what I was looking for. So we'll just make this one look pretty, and then I'll show you. Normally I would probably add some dimension with different stuff, but you get the idea. So cuter than cute. And one other thing while I'm explaining how to do these, on your Cricut, you can cut these out by hand too. If you have cookie cutters, you could use cookie cutters to draw your shape. The possibilities are endless, but if you do have a Cricut or a Silhouette or any kind of cutting device, what I would suggest is that you put this your book page, because most of the time these are pretty thin, and these are all from a dictionary. So I put mine on just a piece of cardstock. This is some printer paper cardstock that I had, and I just glued it down really well. I used the broad tip glue pen by Close to My Heart, which I really like, and it adheres really nice. And then if you're using a Cricut or a Silhouette, then I would suggest using a very low speed so that it doesn't cut your paper and tear it, because it will. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing that. If you are not familiar with a Cricut, or if you're interested in one, that is also, there's a reference link on our Amazon store to that as well. Okay, so, well, let me show you a little simpler one before we get into this. You guys know that I've been using a lot of little golden books and kids books to do some journals. And of course, with that means that I have lots and lots of pages. And so I use them a lot of times for the illustrations. This one I just thought was so cute that I turned it into a bookmark. And so this was just an old book page. I glued it to a piece of cardstock, and then I did my trickery, which this will be really interesting to see how this works when I do this on camera. Here's another one that I did. I stuck a little grommet, and I have punched these little holes in advance with my hole punch, and I'm just going to be real honest. It's not, in my opinion, the best. I don't know if it's me or if it's the punch, but I don't adore it. So it just sometimes sticks, but they're really fun to use. So all you're going to do to make something simple as a cute little bookmark is you're going to need packing tape. Good old Scotch packing tape. I better move these out of the way because I am fairly certain that this could go bad, because it's almost like this is, it's almost like it's magnetic. And so then I end up, it sticks to it right away. And with these book pages, it's extremely fragile. And seriously, okay, there we go. I only have like 10 pairs of scissors and I've already lost it. So to do this, and this is kind of folded over, so let's use this one that's pretty. There we go. For this one, I think I just cut these, they were just scraps, so I think I just cut them so that they were a little bit smaller than the roll of tape. So that way I have a little bit extra. I know you probably can't see that very well, but I have just a smidge extra. Now, what I noticed is the first time I did this, I tried to just fold it over. That was a fail. So I would suggest setting it aside, cutting another piece, and then laying it on top, because like I said, it's almost like it's magnetic once you put that paper on there, and you'll get wrinkles or it won't line up, and then you just get frustrated and throw it away and start over. So okay, kids, let's see if we can do this without me able to. There we go. All right, so now it's all pretty on this side, and I'm simply going to put it in the middle here. And I can't see very well because of my camera. So let's just hope that I got it. Hallelujah. And you can see this one is not, yeah, I mean, it's not even. Like, I mean, it's smaller at the bottom than it is the top. It's fine. So then I just cut off the excess. Now, these two that I did, I tried to use my corner punch. And for whatever reason, this is a close to my heart. Well, I don't know if it's actually by them, but I got it from close to my heart. Looks like it says EK on it. And I love it. I've used it. I have probably 3 or 4 of them. But it doesn't really, I didn't want to ruin it, because sometimes when you cut that tape, the tape gets caught inside of the punch. So to get my rounded edges, I just cut them myself. And if you don't want rounded edges, no big deal. You don't have to have them. But you could do those at just the top. Whatever your little hearts desire. And then I'm going to make this one really simple, because not all of you are going to have, you're not going to have grommets and brads and all that stuff that I have lying around in my organized but seldom used craft room. I don't know why. I mean, I love my craft room, and it is everything at my, everything at the ready. But I love being upstairs, and I love the light in my office. And so I kind of just hang out here quite a bit of the time, which means I haul a whole lot of stuff back and forth. Let's see. I'm going to use some of this pretty, what is this? Organdy. So if you don't have brads or grommets, eyelets, here's what you can do. Simple. You just put it together like that. I folded mine in half because it's kind of tiny. And one thing you'll notice, like, this isn't really a stiff, like this one is, because I put it on a piece of cardstock. So if you want it more sturdy, then I would suggest putting it on a piece of cardstock before you do that. So then all you do is put both ends through there. Oh gosh, see, this is why I use the, oh goodness. Okay. No big deal. Trust me. We're just going to start over, and I'm not going to be so aggressive. Jeez. Be aggressive, baby. I'll be gentle. Sometimes I don't have a lot of patience and I get a little carried away. I don't know if you guys are like that or not. Okay, so see, you have your loop there. You're simply going to do that. And this is, I can see why that happened because it's got some texture to it. And so when I pulled that like that, and then if you want to do, we're going to use this trickaroo quite a few times, but for those of you who've been to one of my gift wrapping classes, you know, you can make those cute little tabs at the end. We'll use that on a couple other things too on paper as well. But there you have it. Now you've got some cute, easy ways to recycle using bookmarks. And you know what? I have to be really honest. I was like, I read a lot. Well, I read a lot of paper books. I read a lot of Kindle books. But I was like, do people still use bookmarks? And then I thought, well, I guess, see, I actually do something probably that other people are like, oh my gosh, why do you do that? But I just dog ear it. But it's always nice to have a cute little bookmark in there. Okay, here's what I'm going to show you. I have used these in several projects before. They are old game cards. So what I did in advance is I took another recipe page, found a couple of cute ones. This one says Southern Gal Biscuits. And I glued them on in advance. And all I'm going to do, and I left them so that you could see what they look like on the other side. But I think what I'll do, I'm trying to think here. Sorry, Connie and Becky, you're not gonna make it into my journal, but your recipe will. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the edge. And you see with this one, this is the back of the very same game piece right here. So if you like that, you can just leave it. And you just cut it down, and this is where I'm going to show you how to use your, gosh, my allergies, I'm telling you. I think it's now year-round allergies. I don't think I get a break. So, my old-fashioned banana bread and frogs, whatever, I don't understand what that, I should have probably read the recipe before I cut it up. So if anybody knows what frogs are, it's really flour, salt, and sour milk. And you cut them, mix ingredients, cut them into diamond shapes. What? I don't know. Now I gotta look at, now I'm gonna have to Google it. So this is my corner punch. And I'm just cutting it just like that. But this is a good way to use up your book pages with other ephemera. Anything, it could be an index card, whatever you want. I'm not going to go ahead and cover these now, but normally what I will probably do is cover this with another, I might just do it just for the, because I don't like it when things aren't finished. Then I have to come back to it, and you know that probably won't happen. So I'll just do it. I'll grab a scrap piece of paper. In fact, maybe I have one that's handy. I have a whole, I'm trying to use as many scraps as I can for a couple projects that I have upcoming. And so maybe I've got some lying around that I can actually use in my next project. So 2 birds, 1 stone. I just keep this upside down so you guys can see that, but I can see in here yesterday when I was making the prototypes that I had, when I used the tape, there's a little piece of tape or 2 in there. And so therefore, things are getting a little stuck. Okay, let me step away here for a second. Let's find a cute little something that's gonna work. I know that I'm using some, I hate using like these full sheets of paper because, here's one that's small. Like there's something I could do with that on a whole piece of paper. So we'll use a small one. What's this? This would be cute. Okay. Easy peasy. I'm going to cover up that. And this is, I'm not sure that this is going to work the best. I'm going to stick a couple dots of this glue on there because this is shiny, kind of a slick surface. Sometimes that glue doesn't work the best. Okay, so this is what it's on one side. So let's see if I can get 2 of these out of there. I doubt it. Well, maybe. That would be awesome. Let that dry for a second. Is it gonna fit? Just. All right. I'm gonna go with this. Oops, sorry guys. And there we have it. I didn't even need to use musical notes. So now we have, and you know what? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these, but this one I'm going to go ahead and cut off because I had a hole punch in it. This other one, let's see what we can do with that. And you guys, this is just a matter of experimenting. Like, there's no rules to this. This is supposed to be fun. And like I say, this is my year of one day I am creating something every single day. And whatever that is, you should find joy in it. There doesn't have to be a rule. It's all up to you. So, because I have this left over, I kind of liked it. You could make an envelope out of this too, quite honestly. But today, just gonna make some tags. Now, it's not perfect, but you know. Now it looks kind of like a tab. It's on, like you would see on your file folders. Voila. You could put a hole, you know, a little hole in that. We're gonna put these aside because we're gonna use them for something else. I just decided this was not in my plan, but glad it worked out. Okay, now we're going to start with a little more difficult project. And it's not difficult, but it just takes a little more time and attention. So pay attention, girls and boys. Okay, so here's what we're going to make. And this is just a bunch of book pages, and this was inspo from Pam and I'm forgetting where, the Paper Outpost, I think. She has some fun videos. I think she lives in Florida, but she has some really cute things, and I've used some of her techniques. But basically what this is 1, 2, 3 little envelopes. These envelopes can be used just like I just did. I decorated this one in advance, and maybe I would put this inside yet another tuck page so people could just take it out and use it, or you could glue it right into your page. So this is what we're going to make. No fear, this is very, very simple. Here is the back of it. Now, because I'm putting this probably into a journal, I'll probably glue this part here, leave those 2 open. So I wasn't really concerned what the back looked like here. So you can see, you know, these are all glued together. If you wanted to make this one seamless piece that you want, we're going to give. This would be perfect to stick a gift card or one in each for my our son's birthdays. One turned 18 and one turned 17 in February. So we actually gave them gift cards for the number of years in their lives so it would be fun to do something like this. And I mean, you can imagine you could do 17 or 18 of those. A little Starbucks, a little Chick-fil-A, whatever. All right, so we started this again as an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Now, if you don't have a book page, not to worry. You can use whatever you want. So what I did is simply cut out, well, let me just do it. These are a bunch of extras. So I basically didn't even really measure. I kind of used the guides on where this was. So we're just going to wing it, and I'll just use part of it. I'll have to tell you the story in a minute about seeing what it says on your papers. But if it's really not going to matter. Because everyone wants gallstone on there. This looks fine. Okay. So we will just do, and you don't have to do, you don't have to have 3 pockets. You could do 2 pockets. I think just for the sake of this one, we'll just make this one a little bit bigger and have a little fun with it. Of course, you can tell I'm putting all my book pages apart, or aside, because I'll probably use those. So this one I used, I think I'm going to cut this side off as well, because I don't like this as well. Well, I didn't do it on that, so whatever. Don't overthink it. See, I'm overthinking it. I'm just doing it. Okay, and then I am going to, I think I'll just do 2 just to expedite this. And again, I'm not measuring. I'm just kind of cutting it where it feels right. Well, look at that. Easy peasy. And see, these are a little bit bigger, but if I needed to use them, I could always cut them down. Okay, here's how simple it is. You're going to fold this up. Now, if you have a punch, use it. If you don't sweat it. If you want, cut it out ahead of time. But the one thing is, I would suggest that you cut it out ahead of time, because I forget that almost every time I do this. And then I'm like, shoot. And then I have to get in there and make it all pretty. Now, inking is a personal preference. On this one, I did a little inking. I also just used a marker and went around and did stitching. I really love the look of actual stitching on book pages. But I don't like messes, and I'm not about to bring up one of my sewing machines to add it to my office, because, this is supposed to be office space, not crafting space. So one of these days I'll get down there and I will make a bunch of pages and then just sew so I can enjoy the fun. But here, all I'm doing is inking my edges. Now here, let's talk about inking for a moment, because again, not all of you will have ink at the ready. Don't sweat it. There's a lot of things that you can use. You can use makeup. So one of the things that I did, I was in Omaha, and I had not brought all of my supplies. And while I'm working on building up my craft supplies at the acreage, I still don't have a lot of them. So I didn't have my inks. And so I went up to our daughter Rhea's room. She's listening. Sorry, Ray. And I just grabbed some bronzer. Like, she had a bunch that, well, it might have been good. I don't know. But I just used a Q-tip and some of her darker bronzer, and I just may do with that. You could also, if you, like I said, you could use your coffee. You won't get quite the same effect, but it would work. If you want colors, you could also probably, I don't know, I've never tried this, so don't quote me on it, but I'm guessing that you could probably use food coloring too. I don't know. Why not try it? All right, so now I am going to, I just glued that last one. I'm going to glue this one. And one thing I love about Pam at the Paper Outpost is, and I'll put a link so that you can see all her videos too, because she's got some fun ones, is she does a really good job of using lots and lots of scraps up. So, and she does a lot of embellishments, way more than I do, but they're so pretty. And she uses a lot of ephemera, which if you don't know what ephemera is, that is one of a kind. These pages, you know, you're not going to find them again, right? We're using them up. I sometimes have issues with using it because I just love it so much and it's so pretty. But that's all I did. 2 little pockets. If you saw, I used the same ribbon technique where I put them together and cut it. And now I'm just, if you want, you can leave them just like this. If you would rather, you can fold them up. You can add a little pretty to them. What do I have that might, oh, you know what we could do? Just for fun, I'm probably going to glue this together. Let's just use this pink little punch. This is another, or I already talked to you about that, but the hole punch, you know what they're used for, as my kids would say, in the olden days. I don't know if people still use them or not. But they would put them as reinforcements, and I think that's exactly what they're called. How cute is that? They would put them around like their notebook papers so that it would keep their notebooks longer. These are not going to be structurally that great because they're just paper, but they're sure cute. Let's see. I'll just put a little... Actually, I'm going to use this yellow one. Sorry, guys. Nah, I don't like that. Instead, I'm just going to use a little piece of ribbon. No, I'm not, because that won't match. And I don't like it when it doesn't match. We'll just leave it. But what I could do is actually put some string through it. I could wrap it around. I have some string here. If I could just put my phalanges on it. I don't think this will go around it, though. Why not try it? I may as well show you. That is really, really delicate. So I don't think that that will really hold. It'll be just more for looks. But I could do another one. And I could do it so that I don't even really use it, but it's just there for pretty. But there you have it. You could do something with that. My scrap that I had laying there. Anyway. Now you have 2 more pockets, so there you go. And of course, I am not going to stamp that particular one, but you could stamp on them. Here's one that is, I already did in advance. Now this one I used, I think I just used 1 page, cut it in half, and then on the last one, instead of folding it up, I left it longer. So you'll see I have more opportunity to make kind of a bigger flap on it. So you can do that too. Voila. Put that aside for I need to finish that. I'm going to have so many pieces for my next project. I can't wait. And hopefully you'll pop back so you can see them. And what they are all about. So one of the things I told you earlier is that I have tons and tons of so I'm going to take a break right now, and I'm going to come back because we've been here for almost 40 minutes, and I want to be able to give you guys a break. So I am going to come back in part 2, and I will see you in just a few minutes.